to welcome all of you to the valedictory ceremony and to present a summary of the 3-day conference that we had. May I request our program coordinator, Dr. P. Kanagavel, to kindly do the honors. Please put your hands together once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Honorable speakers for this important valedictory session, Vice Chancellor of prestigious institute, Anna University, most respected Director General NIWE, Dr. K. Raman, my dear colleague, Mr. David Solomon, other colleagues sitting up the dais, valued participants from national and international, my dear guests, good evening to all of you. I'm really very happy to be here for this valedictory session of 3 days international conference on small wind turbine. In fact, it is not 3 days, it should be 30th day. In fact, we can say 1 month. So we started this program on 14th November. We have combined 3 programs. One international training program on small wind turbine installation, commissioning and operation maintenance aspect for high-tech countries. The next day, 15th of November, we started another training program, especially for the African countries. So in between, we started on 30th November, international workshop on small wind turbine. So what we had, the claims of those works 10 days, and concluding conference for 3 days. So almost the 1 month work, knowledge transfer, discussion, deliberation is going to conclude today. I'm very happy to be here on this occasion. And I welcome our chief guest, the Vice Chancellor of Anna University, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion, sir. Thank you so much for being with us on this momentous occasion. Thank you, sir. I need to thank our Director General, Dr. K. Raman, sir, for creating this wonderful opportunity. Combining these 4 programs is not very simple thing. So we need to work dedicatedly. Before working, we need to plan dedicatedly. So he has given us a clear direction how we can combine these four programs. So accordingly, we worked. So we are seeing the fruits today, sir, because of you. Thank you so much for doing all this for all of us, sir. And I have to tell Mr. David Solomon also, because he only initiated this during January 2018. We had a research council meeting of NIWE, so where we proposed this conference and workshop. So he was actively supported and preparing the planning activities, how we can work on. So I need to thank him, because that time he was my boss also. So I was working with him short while. So we had a wonderful time of planning all these things. So thank you, Mr. David. And I have to thank my team for tirelessly last, so you know, only 1 month program. And we had to work minimum 3 months before planning all the activities, mobilizing participants, so many other things. And even you may think today the program is ending. So we have to work another 1 more month to close all the accounts and post training activities. So I thank my team for giving excellent support continuously, and I thank here my one colleague from NIWE, scientific and administrative staff, for giving excellent support to make this function a success. So with this, I will start the course summary, what happened during this 3 days of the conference. So already you have seen the aims of workshop last 10 days before starting this conference. So we also had some showcasing session during the conference. In fact, to start the brief, this conference attracted about 250 plus participants from almost 40 countries. So good mixture of people, about 85 plus international participants, including the wind turbine trainers, and about 125 participants from India. So we have a good mixture of people from manufacturing sector, state nodal agency who support for the implementation, a lot of researchers, and also the professors from academic institution, and some experts coming from different domains, or entrepreneurs and all. So this kind of mixed group started on 10th of December. So we had inauguration on the 10th. JS Joint Secretary, Ministry of Renewable Energy, was the chief guest to inaugurate this function, and Dr. Kastur Rangayan, the chairman of the Indian Wind Power Association, was guest of honor. So with that, we started this program with keynote address by Dr. K. Palraman. So after the inaugural session, we had a lot of deliberations, discussion on almost all the areas of small wind turbine aspects. In fact, we had scheduled about 10 different panel discussions covering all the aspects of small wind areas, wherein about 62 national and international experts were part of the panels, 10 moderated and 52 experts acted as panelists. I hope all the participants had a fruitful knowledge transfer, hearing from the expert panel members, and I don't want to waste your time. So quickly I will go through some of the key points, what was discussed, and some of the issues people were talking about. The conference has addressed and spelled about the necessity of finding solutions for the following issues. One of the major issues, the first session attracted is coming out with classification of nano, micro and small wind turbine. There's a need because the small wind turbine, till now what we were having the capacity is about 50 kilowatts. But now there is a new initiation started in this conference. I hope we will have a lot of views on this, and the panel members have come up with a lot of findings. So after this conference, we will compile all the recommendation key points to bring out a good policy directive from the Government of India. And after that, we had a session on microgrid, hybrid system, the grid connection, and even environmental aspect of small wind turbine. All these things were discussed, and part of the conference we have also scheduled a deliberation of the workshop findings. So wind turbine team had a special session focusing about the experience and learning points of the workshop. So I need to thank here the whole wind turbine team, coordinated trainers for being with us a long time, about 15-20 days. And Mr. Jorge, who was explaining about the film, he was working with us for the last 1 year to make this function. Thank you, Jorge and wind turbine team. So with this, I conclude the summary. I thank one and all being with us here for not only now, for last 3 days. And we have learned many things. Plus, you know, the Small Wind Turbine during 2010, there was little boost. Many manufacturers came in and there were associations formed. But in fact, this is the first 3 days international conference specifically on Small Wind Turbine. So this is a starting point. So we will definitely take this technology to the rural people. I hope with dynamic leadership of Director General, we will do a lot of better program than this. With this, I thank for the opportunity. Thank you.
Present his closing remarks and the special address, I'd like to request Dr. K. Balraman to kindly do the honors. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for our Director General of NIWE, Dr. Balraman.
Thank you. Respected Vice Chancellor, Professor and Dr. Surapa sir, and my colleagues on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, from almost all the continents in the world. So we have a span of all the people here. So basically, we thought it's an idea of this particular small wind turbine space. So when we say small wind turbine, we want to make sure that it is not just restricted to some kind of a manufacturers give the product, and for each of the servicing and each kind of a maintenance, somebody has to come in from far off locations, and again is going to have an issue. And unlike the solar, which is going to be very static, the wind is going to be dynamic. So the rotating parts and every aspect is going to be there. So what we thought in this particular unique workshop is going to be that rather than giving a fish to the people, we want to make them to learn how to fish it. How to throw the net into the lake or sea, whatever you want it, and how can you fish it. So the same thing has happened here. We try to make sure right from the blade, be on the wood, which is going to be commonly available across the world, or the fiberglass, which is going to be available at least in a few towns, in most of the cities as well as in the urban areas. And the towers, we want to make the tower to be in the wood itself, or even the steel that can be possible. And all these are all the raw materials which is available in and around you. With this, how can you build the wind turbines? That basically the program. So this idea is not mine. I don't want to take credit. Credit goes to Jorge. Why can't we have this particular one? I think it's a 1 year back, December 2017. It all ideas say, why can't we have this particular one? And we have a dedicated NGO, the wind department, which is doing this particular task, which is fine. So then we took this particular initiative, started planning. My only point is like a catalyst to my team. We have very little contribution from my side. So the reaction has been taken by my team, and they did the work wonderfully. Now today we are in the concluding session of the workshop and followed with the conference. And the conference has thrown in various highlights, because the ministry wanted very clearly to understand, because these are one sector, the small wind turbine, where it can penetrate the nooks and corners of the country, which can make a real difference. Just like the other day I was talking about the recent incidents what we had in Tamil Nadu, the Gaza effect, where the electricity was down for almost a week to at least couple of weeks. Even some of the area the electricity is still not up. See, what is the need of the demand of this community today is a light, and more importantly, to have the mobile to be charged. The demand for this particular one, if you talk about light, the LED bulb and the mobile charger is not more than 30 watts to 40 watts. And the people who designed the turbine today is generating 500 watts. This turbine was designed for 3 kilowatts, but they generating with the wind what is available as a 500 watts. And this turbine has been built in 7 days because of the training. Otherwise, 2 days is sufficient to build this particular one. So, electricity at least for the requirement, for emergency requirement, with the solar as well as the small wind turbine can definitely make a difference in the community. Rather than depending upon the grid to come, definitely grid is we are not trying to talk about the competition between solar, wind or grid. We are trying to talk about the complementing each one of them. Each one is going to complement each other. We make sure that there is a difference in the way the people want to live and the people want the needs being met. This is basically what the motive of the conference. And so far, we are very happy with the deliberations, and we do expect some kind of deliberations to come up from here. We already noted down. We are preparing a brief note. We have a brief note for all the community, as well as a separate note we are sending to ministry. How well we can revive this small wind sector. Very important thing is we want to understand very clearly when I talk of small. Small can be the few watts to few hundred watts. So it becomes very difficult to target the community where it has to go. That's basically why we deliberated, and we try to, of course, many people ask us why there is need for classifications. We need a classification, then only it's possible for us to target where it can go. Rather than beating around the bush, let us go with the targeted direction, wherein we are trying to talk about between 100 to 500 kilowatts as a small, between a kilowatt to 100 kilowatts as a micro, and less than a kilowatt as a nano, so that we can have a clear targeted group and we can have a targeted program for this particular one to revive. So we try to do this particular aspect, and we do. I always say it's just a starting point. We need to have a small workshops and coupled with this kind of a large gathering where you can come out with your experience, what went wrong, so that you are not going to repeat the mistakes, and what went right, so that people can take that particular view and copy that, so that we are going to make a successful community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Balraman, for bringing such an innovative conference and for putting the community and rural on the forefront. With that, we will now move on to the valedictory address, but before that, we'd like to take this moment to give our thanks and gratitude to our chief guest. May I request Dr. Balraman to kindly present a memento and a shawl as our token of appreciation to our chief guest of the evening, Dr. M.K. Surappa, Vice Chancellor, Anna University, Chennai. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our chief guest. Chief guest, Dr. M.K. Surappa, Vice Chancellor, Anna University, Chennai, to kindly present the valedictory address.
Dr. Balraman, Director General of the National Institute for Wind Power, Dr. P. Kanagaway, Additional Director, Dr. David, Director, and all the experts and the delegates who have come from nearly all the continents of this globe, and from nearly 40 countries who are participating in this 4-in-1 conference, that is on the providing what I call the workshop for the maintenance of the small wind power, mails and discussing on the various aspects of the small wind turbines. First of all, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here to take part in this valedictory function of this very important conference on the small wind turbine and on all aspects. After listening, while coming from my office, I had discussions with the scientists who came along with me, and later on with Professor Balraman, whom I used to see him earlier. And first of all, I congratulate this institute and the Professor Balraman for taking this kind of initiative and organizing an important workshop on this important topic, especially renewable energy, that is wind power, wind energy, and how to take it forward through the small wind turbines. And it's a great it's a great step which is taken by this National Wind Energy Institute, and congratulate all the faculty members and the staff for this big important initiative in this renewable energy initiative, which our country and all the other countries are looking, making a big strides on this one. I'm a metallurgist, so I don't have much knowledge about these wind turbines. But one thing that I've been was back to my memory, about 15 years back, I was the secretary of the Karnataka State Council on Science and Technology. I was involved in getting back this hybrid power system at the Kudremukha resorts. There is a hilly area in Karnataka, near the Chikmagalur Western Ghat area, where there was a guest house, the resort town, and it's a hilly area where the power was not provided to the guest houses in an uninterrupted way, where the guests used to stay, that the lights were, power was required, where the state electricity board was not able to provide this uninterrupted power supply. Then the State Council for Science and Technology had put up a hybrid power plant with the wind come solar power plant. But when I took charge of the council, that was not working because of some gusty wind. This wind that they had put up, this hybrid one, had fallen off, especially that pillar on which this turbine was attached, because it was not properly fixed with the proper cables, proper ropes and things like that. So then I felt that I think I should get back that power system back to the, so that it was helpful to the people. So I took it as the first assignment, first initiative, where I put my engineers to put it back into the system so that power is generated for those people. So I was able to do that one and generate something like a 10 kilowatt something power, 10 or 25 kilowatt power. I don't know if it's still working or not, but the technology at that time was a very hybrid system, that's a wind and the solar one now. And I think in the last 15 years, this hybrid power system as well as the wind power generators, this technology has changed so significantly, and it has continued to grow. And I'm glad that Wind Energy Institute here has taken up this kind of initiative. And I don't have to tell that the wind and the solar energy are the only two natural resources which is provided across all the continent, irrespective of the region. There is no discrimination, availability of these two natural resources. If you look at all the other natural resources of the fossil fuel, oil, they are all very discriminating in a sense, certain regions available, certain regions, but these are the two natural resources which our human society can exploit for the benefit of the society. And this is more important because as the all the renewable energy resources are spreading fast, we are discovering, inventing new renewable energy sources, how to produce this renewable energy in a more efficient way. I think greater research is being done all over the world, including India. So in this direction, I think an institute like this taking up this step is very important. And the share and the intensity of the usage of the renewable energy is also gaining, moving up at a greater pace. And all this, of course, is helping in the decarbonization of the world and protecting the climate. So I think this is a very important thing for all of us, This is one of the challenges to human society for the 21st century, to provide the energy, cleaner energy, and the wind energy, the solar energy. I think is going to play a greater role. And all the countries are moving up to searching for the new sources of renewable energy and improve their efficiency and the distribution. I think all the countries are working very hard, and India is no exception. And I think has very, very impressive efforts, especially in taking the renewable energy for a very high percentage. And I understand from as of October, it has moved from the nearly about 35 to the 73 of the renewable gigawatt of energy, renewable energy is able to produce. And I understand that 35 gigawatt is also now the total wind energy that is generated in India, occupying a fourth place in the wind power generation, and it is preceded by the solar energy, that is the fifth position. And although India is number four in terms of producing the wind energy, Tamil Nadu is in the fourth rank. It is contributing the 25% of this 35 gigawatt. So I'm glad that the institute is rightly located in Tamil Nadu to accelerate this wind energy and contributing to the national goals of producing a particular 170 gigawatt power by 2022 and provide the increasing demand for the energy for the aspiring higher living standard to meet the requirements of the higher living standards of our people of the country, which is a growing economy. So I think I'm sure that already country has been able to meet those targets well in advance, especially in this renewable energy. So this is a great thing that that's happening, and in terms of with respect to the renewable energy. But one thing is, I would like to perhaps share my thoughts, what I think about it. Now we come into the small wind turbines. I think this occupies a very significantly different domain space compared to the very important. And with respect to this one, some of the issues connected with the small wind turbine system is basically the materials that are used in packing the turbines, in the entire turbine is housed, including the blades and the other body, the kind of material that has to be used. Okay, that is you need to undergo a lot of perhaps further research, so that this becomes much more affordable and easily manufacturable. So I was talking to the people whether the turbine blades that we use, the carbon fiber or the glass fiber, reinforced plastics, can be substituted by much more easily made. Because this requires a lot of casting effort. It's a one blade at a time. But I was talking to Dr. Balaram about this other scientist, that the metallic materials can be used. Because the choice, the design of the selection of material for the turbine blades, I think is based on the stiffness or fairly strength and corrosion resistance. I think combination of these things, to what extent, I'm not sure about it, but this needs to be looked at it and look at the alternate materials. One of the advantages of the metallic materials is, of course, the formability and things, and the cost and the density. Of course, when density is concerned, of course, the aluminum is light, magnesium is further light, but magnesium has a problem of the corrosion resistance, full corrosion one. So, but it's easily formable. Aluminum is easily formable. You can use the crouching press, mass produce this kind of a blades at a very short period of time. So that's one thing. Then the other thing is the technology of generating the power using the small turbines. What extent I think the research, the amount of the intensity of the research, or the interest in the research in designing these turbines for the small wind turbines, I think needs to be done. And also look at now the technology is changing in everything, the telecommunication, ICT, in connecting with various other sectors in the transportation system. So perhaps you can look at the technology that is used other than the conventional generators that are used at a minimum micro scale. The generator that are used in the large one, it is the same mini scale in the small one. And I understand that now a lot of research, I was reading the morning Nature magazine, I was reading some of the things. For example, this new possibility of using a different generated based on the different forms of energy, that is the triboelectric nano generators. Which means something have been used now, have been tried in harvesting methods that generate electricity from the triboelectric. It basically based on the triboelectric effect and the electrostatic induction. Okay, this combination of these two, perhaps one can look at it. These days everything is being miniaturized using nanomaterials and the micro, what you call the MEMS and things like that. See how we can extend that one to in the use of the generators for this small wind power turbine. So that is one thing perhaps the researchers can consider and look at this one so that it becomes more compact. These kind of small wind turbines can be more affordable and they can be installable and things like that. And the kind of problems perhaps that you are associated with the bigger one, what we call the wake effects, I think may not be there in this kind of a small turbine, but we can explore that it can have that kind of a thing. And what is the use of this small turbines, small capacity one compared to the bigger one, because bigger one I understand also can disturb the biodiversity things, especially it's not conducive for certain kinds of birds. And if those birds are destroyed, I think the other kinds of results are going to go will be there in the nature in increased amount, and it will cause the biodiversity imbalance. So maybe that kind of a thing may not be there using the small wind power generator. So we can avoid those things. So this is one thing that perhaps we can be advantageous compared to the bigger one, so the large scale turbine blades. Then I'm also looking at this other thing. The repair and the maintenance of this one, people are involved, the technicians and all. Maybe, we can use to detect the malfunctioning of this kind of turbines and repairing and monitoring the energy thing. Can also be seen using the other advances in the technology, that is the artificial intelligence, IoTs, and see that because this kind of a small one installed in the hilly areas and remote areas, and where I don't know the small wind energy, the small wind turbine farms can be made, or only it stands on the standalone in a very isolated way. I have no idea, but I think these are the things to be looked at. If they are done in a farm, as a small wind farm, then maybe it's possible that IoTs and things like that, Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, next those technology, new sensors can be utilized to monitor the functioning of this one. So download time is minimum. So these are the things perhaps needs greater attention on these things. Then I'm also talking to the Bologna. Possibly this can be used as a rooftop. So I'm just looking at the possibility how when you use it at rooftop, on the rooftop now already you have the dish antennas or the one to use the receiving signals for the television. Then you can also have this solar rooftop. Then you have the rooftop on this wind, and you can possibly think about the hybrid one and see this hybrid of the solar and the wind one, small wind one can be combined together and produce the homes become self-sufficient during the later and can be combined, put into the same battery perhaps, and how it can be used. I think these are the areas perhaps one can look at it, explore the possibilities of popularizing or using these small wind turbines in a greater number at every home, just like a solar heater has become a popular now. Every day, every home is a very accepted thing now in the urban and the rural areas. So we can think how all these solar heaters, solar power, solar panel and the small wind turbine, how we can install in a small rooftop and provide all the energy required for single load, and energy this form becomes the energy something all the required energy is met by this combination of these things. So one can explore these possibilities. And so these are the things comes to my mind about it. And so it's important that our workshop of this type is conducted and show this delegates who come from the 40 countries. I will look into these kind of things perhaps, because it is an imperative that all of us have to go for this kind of renewable energy to overcome this our climatic problems, climatic change and all these natural disasters which accompany because of the climatic effect, that to what they call the global warming, and it can contribute to mitigate this climatic climatic effects. So for all these things, I think wind energy and especially the small turbines, small wind turbines will greatly help in solving our energy problems at a micro level, okay, and satisfy the energy requirement of our growing population with the increased aspirations, okay, with the increased higher standards of living. That is the only way perhaps can be done. So I wish this workshop a great success, and thank you very much for inviting me for this meeting.
Thank you very much, Dr. N.K. Surappa, for agreeing to be our chief guest for the valedictory ceremony and for bringing your metallurgy knowledge and discussing to us on small wind turbines' global potential. There are two very dynamic personalities we'd like to mention right now and thank for their hard work, support, and for being absolute pillars of this workshop and conference. They've been working tirelessly for the last few months. I'd like to request all of you to please give a huge round of applause for our program coordinators, Dr. P. Kanagavel along with Mr. Hari Bhaskar. May I request Mr. Hari Bhaskar to kindly join us on stage. I'd like to request our chief guest, Dr. Surappa, to kindly honor our program coordinators for bringing to Chennai for the first time ever an international conference that is specific only to small wind turbine, and for managing to get experts and leaders from across the globe all under one roof as we discuss the potential of small wind turbine. Once again, a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the very dynamic Dr. Kanagavel and Mr. Hari Bhaskar. Once again, going out to Dr. Kanagavel and Mr. Hari Bhaskar, and I'm sure with our overwhelming response with this international conference, our next year is sure to be bigger on a grander scale. With that, I'd like to request Sri J.C. David Solomon to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Anna University, Dr. Professor N.K. Surappa ji, our beloved Director General, Balraman sir, my brother officer, Dr. Kanagavel, dear friends from NIWE, family from Wind Empowerment, colleagues from the academia, stakeholders, industry, greetings and welcome to this valedictory function. It's my onerous duty to propose the vote of thanks. And first let me thank our honorable guest for an enlightening speech. Thank you, sir. We look upon NIWE University as a major player in this work that we have commenced today. And I think our DG would surely agree on that. We thank our Director General for having held us together so that we actually had this program in control from day one till now. And as my brother Kanagavel said, the culmination has not yet come. What we have done today is we have set the gold standards in an international small wind turbine conference. It's like a nuclear device that has been set in a shaft somewhere deep in the earth. The tremors have reached everywhere. And we know every year we will be aspiring to surpass this golden standards that we have hit today, and the tremors will be felt in all parts of the continents. We as a part of this conference wanted to evolve a common platform where every stakeholder, be it the industry to the innovator with the student community in the center, everybody comes together and then learn things as a hands-on thing. And we thank Wind Empowerment for coming in strength, Jessica, Alfie, and all of us for coming. For having stood here and ensured this program has really had a leaps and bounds in terms of what we have accomplished. Guys, we will surely be looking up to you to have many more such collaborations at many more places around the world. Thank you. Now I would also thank the panel members, the experts, people from the community, from both academia and industry who came together to share their insights based on their experiences, and for having shown nuggets of gold which can be picked up by the research community to take it forward as a research. One thing has clearly evolved. We need to actually develop our own solutions, and it's our hands that will build it. And the reason why I said this is a gold standard was, this was a workshop where we actually saw love for one another and empowerment as the sole aim for which we came together. Small wind, we know, is an empowering thing. It's a disruptor in the distributed grid. It is going to put power in the hands of remote habitats, bring them into civilization, and then use that human capital that is going to be available when it is connected to the civilized world. And we know this group which sits here is a tireless group. It is not motivated by any materialistic things. It is the ideal that is holding them. So I again thank everyone who has come with a real passion. We will keep seeing one another to build a real good future. At this juncture, I would like to thank all the academic participants, mostly sir from NIWE and its affiliate colleges. And in this regard, from this podium, I would like to place a humble request to the Vice Chancellor that, sir, if possible, we would request you that a 1 credit course at some of your institutions should be started. And then I think that would be the nurturing ground where from research will start. And maybe next year we will have student competitions, the way Society of Automobile Engineers has. And I know this will be a very big driving force, and designs will be coming out. And we are sure the industry will sum up everything that comes from this collaboration. So thank you again for being part of this golden standards and be part of the next gold standard beating competition again. Thank you.